Alright guys, I am back with my Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor 10 review, finally. Finally finished the entire show, and I actually thought this was a pretty good pay-per-view. Kind of average, but I didn't think it was too bad. I know some people thought it was just a bad show, but I actually enjoyed most of this. I think the streaming issue turned a lot of people off, but I'm not going to beat a dead horse here on that. So the first match is Caprice Coleman and Cedric Alexander versus Carino and Jimmy Jacobs. First match in the tag team tournament. They wanted, to go ahead and get these out of the way so that the guys who were doing double duty had some time in between. So they started the show with this, and the first thing I noticed is a dead ass crowd. I mean, bad for this match. And some other matches later on, I don't know if it was the building or what, but man, this crowd didn't care about anything really. So Jacobs throws a chair and hits Caprice in the head behind the ref's back. I was thinking, shouldn't this be a $5,000 fine? I guess if you throw a chair and hit someone in the head, it's okay as long as you're not swinging it. But he hits him in the head with the chair, and Carino hits the side suplex on Caprice for the win. Jacobs and Carino advance. Tadarius Thomas versus Silas Young for a spot in the qualifying match for survival of the fittest. Tadarius wins with a spinning kick. Not a bad match. It would have been better if it had something behind it, some type of heat or anything really. I didn't think it was a bad match, it's just the fans didn't care about this one at all, and it really just hurt the match. ACH versus Kyle O'Reilly. Nigel says he saw ACH backstage and thought he was Wayne Brady. I could see that. O'Reilly does the Scott Hall abdominal stretch spot. ACH goes for a second rope 450. Kyle gets the knees up, puts him in a choke. ACH taps. Kyle refuses to break the hold and then spits on the ref. This was a good match. I like this one. Then we get the Briscoes versus Rhett Titus and Charlie Haas with Shelton Benjamin. The Briscoes go for the Doomsday Device, but Mark gets distracted by Shelton. Haas hits a belly-to-belly on Mark off the top, and Rhett rolls up Jay for the win. Titus and Haas advance. Shelton refused to celebrate with Rhett Titus at the end of this match. He's all happy for Charlie Haas, but he's like, ugh, nothing for Rhett. That was pretty funny. I kind of thought that the Briscoes should have gone over here. This whole Rhett Titus and Charlie Haas not really wanting to be partners, they just kind of got forced into it. And they're going to do the spots where they tag themselves in. I think it's too much to do it 2 times in one night. I thought the Briscoes were who the fans wanted to see go over here, and it would have been a lot better if the Briscoes did win this match. Especially after recent events in the storyline, I don't see the need for Rhett Titus and Charlie Haas to make it to the end of this tournament. We all know by now that Jacobs and Carino win the entire thing and become the new tag team champions. So why have Titus and Haas go over, especially when the Briscoes are getting a title shot at Glory by Honor? Why not have the Briscoes make it to the end, lose, and then they get the shot at Glory by Honor for making it all the way to the end? Something like that. So I would have preferred the Briscoes gone over here. Davey Richards comes out for his interview. He says he's back. He wants to be the best in the world. He's going into survival of the fittest. I thought this was great stuff. Homicide versus Jay Lethal. This was an alright match. Another match the crowd just really didn't care about. They teased the table spot, which actually pumped the fans up for a little bit, but Homicide kicks out of 2 Lethal combinations. Lethal can't seem to put him away. Homicide gets in his face, and Lethal hits this just sick DDT on him. It was awesome. So of course Lethal wins the match, but this was just a really cool spot. And it keeps the build going for Jay Lethal, just killer instinct, doing anything he can to win the match. So I did like that. Irish Airborne, Dave and Jake Christ versus Roderick and Michael Elgin. Truth Martini's hair is awesome here. This This is amazing. I mean, it has to be seen. I know they put a picture of it up on their Facebook page, and it is just an awesome, awesome picture of his hair. It is, I don't know, I guess it's teased is what you would call it, and it's just all poofed up. Just great stuff. And Roderick actually says on his way to the ring with him, this thing might catch on fire. And it feels to me like Roderick Strong bullies Truth Martini. And I don't know if this is part of Roderick's character. I think Truth probably doesn't like this in real life. Because he's always saying stuff about Truth, or he's making jokes about him. I think on the TV show this week he took his glasses and threw them. I remember one time Truth had his hair in pigtails and Roderick was pulling on them on his way to the ring. And I don't think he tells Truth he's going to do these things, and I think it probably does bother Truth. But yeah, it's just really awkward. This wasn't bad. I mean, saying I think this will catch on fire, no big deal. But when he's like pulling the guy's hair or taking his gimmicks and throwing them, I do think it kind of bothers Truth Martini. So Truth says that, Elgin pounds the weights, Roderick pounds the booze and the broads, and Truth pounds the knowledge. And then he tells Veda Scott to take her pants off. Just great stuff. So the actual match, Elgin needs a tag, but Roderick keeps walking away from him. This leads to a shoving match on the outside between the two. Jake dives over the top rope, and Elgin just catches him. And then Dave runs and hits a dive and takes Elgin down, but man, Elgin's strength is just awesome. I mean, it's phenomenal, really. The stuff he can do in there, he's just really strong. Another example, he gets Jake up in a fireman's carry and then holds Dave and then hits a fall-away slam on both of them. And this doesn't even look like it phases Elgin. You talk about somebody who could get Tensai up for the shell-shocked. I think Elgin could do that with Tensai sandbagging him. I mean, he does some crazy stuff out there. Alright, so Elgin hits the buckle bomb and spinning power bomb on Dave. Roderick tags himself in, and while Elgin's distracted by Jake, he steals the pin. It was a decent match. Then Matt Hardy comes out. He's going to do commentary for the Adam Cole versus Mike Mondo match for the TV title. I believe I mentioned this on the Road Rage TV episode. He didn't get a good reaction here. The fans booed him. He got one streamer. I don't understand why TJ Perkins is gone. The Young Bucks are gone. And they're bringing in Matt Hardy. I don't really care to see Matt Hardy wrestle in Ring of Honor. But I understand that he does have star power. It could be good for the TV show. It can be good for Ring of Honor. So I understand that they're trying to grow. But I really just do not care to see him wrestle for Ring of Honor at all. It just does nothing for me. And from the crowd's reaction here, nobody else wants to see it either. So what's he say here? He says the line about Adam Cole reminding him of a young Matt Hardy, that everybody's been telling him this. And he says this over and over again on commentary. I have to admit, he didn't do a bad job on commentary. I thought he did pretty good. But he kept saying that over and over. So Mondo says he wants to do it under Ring of Mondo rules, no fear rules, no count out, no time limit. Cole accepts this, and Hardy says he got the mixed reaction from the fans because the ROH fans like their cult favorites. At least they acknowledged the reaction he got. Hardy's talking about how Cole finished the match with O'Reilly after his mouth was busted, and how he once finished a match after tearing his abdominal wall and had his intestines coming out. What the fuck is he talking about here? It's just another way of... I don't know. I kind of see what they're doing here. He's trying to kind of be a heel, I guess. Anyways, Cole works the leg. Mondo works his arm. They brawl around the outside using the barricades and stuff. Get my spot here. I'm going to put this on. So they do brawl around a little bit. I know Cole hits this sixth spot where he kind of just dumps Mondo onto the concrete. Mondo gets the upper hand though, and he's got Cole in a position like he's going to punt him or stomp on the back of his head. And he keeps stopping himself. He's like, I can't do it. So then he decides to go to the top rope to just kill Cole, I guess. Kind of strange, but he goes up top, misses. Cole puts him in the figure four, and Mondo taps. Afterwards, Cole and Mondo shake hands. Hardy gets in the ring, and it shows a fan sign who says, I paid to see Matt Hardy. Nobody ever. And they showed the entire sign. So Matt Hardy says that Cole reminds him of a young Matt Hardy again. Massive boos when he actually said this live instead of on commentary. When he actually said this in front of the fans in the arena, everybody just booed this. Hardy says that he was better than Cole and leaves, setting up a future feud between the two of them. So we get the finals of the tag team tournament with Jimmy Jacobs and Carino versus Rhett and Charlie Haas with Shelton Benjamin. Jacobs tries to use the spike, but Rhett and Jacobs kind of just knock each other down. So Shelton Benjamin super kicks Jacobs and tells Rhett to pin him. But instead Rhett gets up and shoves Shelton. So Shelton hits pay dirt on Rhett Titus and Jacobs covers him, winning the match, new tag team champions. Afterwards Rhett tries to attack Haas and Benjamin, but they beat him up, double powerbomb him. That was it really. Then we get the main event, which is Rhino versus Kevin Steen for the world title. Cornette comes out, makes it anything goes, of course. They do this for all the Kevin Steen pay-per-view matches. And they brawl around. Steen... oh yeah, Steen... that sign I mentioned earlier with Matt Hardy, nobody paid to see Matt Hardy, Steen actually holds this up. And normally he'll hold up a sign and rip it. Like there's another sign he picks up that says, if Steen loses, I will complain on the internet. And he just tears it up. But this Matt Hardy sign he didn't tear up, which is weird for Steen. So Steen tries to kick Truth Martini, but he ends up hitting Veda Scott, so they have to carry her away. He sets up a table between the apron and the barricade, and Truth hits him in the back of the head with the book and then puts him on the table. Rhino dives, puts Steen through the table. Rhino sets up another table in the corner, and then Steve Corino comes out. So they're both facing each other. The fans are chanting ECW. Rhino gores Jacobs, Corino, and Todd Sinclair. And Steen gores Rhino, hits the F5, but Rhino kicks out. Truth tries to attack Steen and gets hit with the package pile driver. I don't think they've mentioned anything about this, even though the move is banned, I guess because it's Truth Martini. Jim Cornette doesn't care, maybe. But he hits the pile driver on him. Rhino goes for the gore, misses, sending himself through the table, and Steen hits the F5 again for the win. So Michael Elgin comes out because he's going to face Steen in Glory by Honor. And that's the next match, and Steen spits in his face. Elgin goes to powerbomb Steen, but Corino shoves Roderick Strong into Elgin, and Steen escapes with Scum, and then Elgin hits the spinning powerbomb on Roderick Strong. And I thought it was a good match. It was kind of short, actually, but I did enjoy this one. And I think as far as the ending goes, with Elgin powerbombing Roderick Strong, as far as Glory by Honor 11, with Elgin versus Kevin Steen, I actually think that somehow Roderick Strong is going to cost Michael Elgin the match, and then they're going to continue their feud towards Final Battle with Michael Elgin versus Roderick Strong at Final Battle. So I do see Kevin Steen winning the match, and I don't see him losing the belt until Final Battle, if then. So I do think Elgin's going to lose, and I think having Roderick Strong cost him the match is a good way to keep their feud going at the same time. So anyways, that was it. That was Death Before Dishonor 10. I enjoyed this show. It was pretty good. It was a little average, but it wasn't as bad as a lot of other people thought, in my opinion. So anyway, that's my review of the show. Finally got this one up. Hope you guys liked this video. Leave your thoughts on the show in the comments below, and thanks for watching. Bye.